Hey guys, welcome back to Crypto Serious. Let's dive into Bitcoin and Ethereum. In the last video, I mentioned that a lot of analysts were waiting for Bitcoin to dip into that $107,000 zone. The idea was, once liquidity down there gets taken, we'd see a false breakdown with a wick and then a bullish reversal. That's definitely a valid plan, but I also reminded you not to forget about the $108,000 trendline support. And this isn't just a two-point line. It's a three-touch trend line, which makes it a much stronger potential support level. So, yeah, I said maybe Bitcoin doesn't actually need to flush $107,000. Maybe it just consolidates here, holds the line, and surprises everyone by breaking higher and forming the bottom right here. Now, Bitcoin just closed the week at $112,197. That's important because it's above the neckline of the weekly M-top at $112,000. So, from a weekly perspective, this is actually not bad. It could be, from despair to hope kind of move, a setup for a rebound battle. So today, I want to look at it from a mid to long-term perspective. If Bitcoin really is bottoming here, can it push back above $120,000 and maybe even set new all-time highs? Like I said before, this zone is potentially a bottom. If you're long, all you really need to manage risk is either a stop under the trend line or a stop around $108,000. Last time, I also told you guys I went long Ethereum near $3,960. And if you went long Bitcoin around the trend line like we talked about, right now, you're already up about 4,000 points. So here's a reminder. Set a defensive stop. Don't fall into the fantasy of, I'll just hold forever. It's either move your stop to break even, or lock in partial profits and let the rest ride risk-free. That's the smarter way to stay in the game. Now, let's check the monthly chart. Last month's candle was pretty ugly, but this month, so far, Bitcoin has held its ground. The monthly support was right around $108,200. That's not only trendline support, but also the previous monthly close and open price. So yeah, when you see multiple confluences at one level, you don't just blindly short into it. I don't have a bias toward long or short. I just follow the trend. And on the weekly trend, here's the key point. If Bitcoin had closed below $112,000, then yeah, we'd be talking breakdowns and more downside. But instead, it closed back above. That's what I call a failed breakdown. Volume also expanded, which makes this look more optimistic. On the daily time frame, the next big resistance is around $113,200. And right now, price is already sitting there. So we need to see if today's daily close can actually hold above $113,200. If it does, the next natural target is $118,000 to $119,000. That's my left side projection for now. And here's something interesting. Bitcoin not only broke the trend line, it also completely engulfed that huge red crash candle. That's a strong sign. So from here, $113,200 becomes new support. If price pulls back, holds this level, and avoids making new lows, then the trendline breakout could lead to a much stronger rally. If you're already long, the worst-case scenario is move to break even. And if the setup fails, just reset at $107,000 liquidity grab. That's the alternate plan.
Now let's look at Ethereum. Remember the 0.618 retracement around $3,969? That's where we looked for a bounce. And that's exactly where we got one. Ethereum bounced to about $4,060, a clean $100 move. On the weekly chart, that area is important because it's basically a month of accumulation. First touch into that zone usually gives at least a reaction. So yeah, last week I said, watch for a bounce here. And now on the daily, if Ethereum can reclaim $4,100, that would be a pretty solid bullish signal. If you want a clearer confirmation, look at $4,260. That's the next key resistance. Honestly, the first test probably won't break it. It should build some structure first, maybe even form a small head and shoulders bottom before pushing through. And yeah,
With month-end coming, a straight-line pump seems less likely. More likely is some consolidation around this trend line before another leg higher. So for now, if you're already long from $3,960, set a break-even stop and keep holding. If you're not in, then maybe wait for another retest of $4,060 support as a new entry opportunity. One last reminder. Lately, the market has had this pattern where big moves happen in an instant, followed by long periods of chop. We saw it with the bears. Long sideways, sudden dump. Then sideways again, another dump. Now we're seeing it on the upside too. Sideways, then quick rally, then sideways again. So don't expect the market to give you non-stop action. Right now, both Bitcoin and Ethereum are moving slowly, so patience is key. Alright guys, that's it for today's update. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe to Crypto Serious and also follow me on Twitter for more real-time updates. Catch you in the next one.